All right, welcome into Are You Cirrus, episode 54. 54?
54, yeah.
Crazy to think about. Like, share, comment. Fun fact, we are back after our Twisters movie night. And July, as this is now August, happy August 1st. Where did the time go?
August, the worst of the worst months.
It's my birthday month. But it is a really tough month. Kids are going back to school already.
I think that's probably one of the good parts. Most parents are probably really happy
Oh,
about
I'm
that.
sure they're stoked.
Yeah.
But like there was schools that went back yesterday. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
July? We would go back so late. And then we got out like right after the Derby in Kentucky. But yeah, so August, fall will be around the corner, obviously. Fall, we know how that works here.
Yeah.
And of course, hurricane season, we'll get to that. But I did find out, I was looking at some numbers, July is our most listened to month of all time on the podcast.
Really?
July 2020.
But we only did like one.
I have no idea. 490-ish
Wow.
listens and downloads, so thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know
That
what
was
we
great.
did.
No. Okay.
We had Gerald on,
We had Gerald,
Which
and then we did the
probably
Twisters.
helped.
Yeah.
and then we did Twisters.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? Maybe
Yeah.
3 episodes.
Maybe. I don't know. I've lost count.
You can kind of tell, and we'll get into it, but you could probably get a feel of how we're doing.
This is August. Can we be done?
Yeah.
Can we get through it?
And when you say it, are you talking about the heat? We talking about the hurricane season?
Talking about the heat, hurricane season. That's going to do what it's going to do. But yeah, just the heat and
Yeah.
yeah.
And this is now the start of the technical 5th heat wave for us on the course of so many days, hitting 105 or higher, which this will be number 5. I feel like we've had more this year, and it's been hot, it's been humid, but we still haven't had, I think we had that one stretch, but we still haven't had the crazy 125.
Nothing too extreme.
130.
But just like every summer, I was actually at a shop the other day, and it got me thinking. This sweet little lady was like, I don't ever remember last summer being this hot. I don't remember any summer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you hear it every year. You hear it every year.
I think everyone gets excited for this time of year, and then they
and then it
instantly
happens.
regret it.
And they're like, oh, that's summer in the South.
It's like, all right, we're back to where we should be. So, obviously that's coming again. We'll be talking about that. Let's talk tropics in a second. But before we do so, Twisters, it was a busy week last week. How was your weekend? Everything good?
Weekend was good. Actually did a little getaway down to Georgetown over the weekend, which was nice. Little
photos.
Georgetown vacation. Stayed at the George.
Okay. What'd you think? Ooh la la.
It was kind of fancy and a beautiful hotel. And actually, as luck would have it, was checking in on the way to the elevator to the room and ran into the general manager of the George.
So now we get free stays.
I don't know about free, but ran into the general manager of the George, who I've known for years, hadn't seen for years. And she was like, what room are you in? And I was like, this one. She's like, no. We're going to give you an upgrade. So got an upgrade at the George, which was nice. Great restaurants, great shopping. Spent way too much money in Georgetown. But it's fine. Came home with a trunk full of antiques, belly full of good food. It was good.
Georgetown's one of those cities, too. Shout out to Georgetown. We have a producer from there. I call him the Georgetown Bureau, if you will, Alan Marcus. But it's one of those cities that there's a lot of hidden things that you don't know about. If you've never been, highly recommend Georgetown.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just think of Georgetown as that traffic stop on your way to Charleston. But it's, once you get off and explore and walk the neighborhoods and go to the shops, go to the restaurants, it's a really nice place.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Stinks sometimes. Stinks really bad
I was going to say the plant.
But, it's beautiful.
If you could find the perfect day, too, the shops are great. Yeah. They have some coffee shops there that are a must try. Where'd you eat in Georgetown? The foodie in me wants to
had lunch at Frank's on Front, which is the new sister station restaurant to Frank's.
What'd you think Outback. In comparison to Frank's Outback?
Not quite.
They listen to the podcast, too.
Yeah. Lunch was fantastic. Drinks were fantastic.
Oh, they always are.
They had a big crowd in there for lunch. But it was really good. And then dinner was at the Independent, which is the restaurant inside the George.
Okay.
Which is amazing. the Independent was absolutely amazing. If you're looking for a top-notch culinary experience at a really good price, that's it.
So while we're on food too, and then we could talk about whatever else and get into weather. I almost threw it in the box, but I said, you know what? No, because I saw your photos. New spots in town that you've tried recently was the photo or the question from James. James, I know he's been to one that I'm dying to go to, the new wine bar in town. How was that?
Been 2004. I've been back twice now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Ben is kind of my new spot.
Okay.
Ben, BIN 2004.
Yeah.
Man, is it a fantastic spot.
It was good?
Oh, amazing. And not just good food, good drinks, great wine selection if you're a wine drinker, great cocktails if you're a cocktail drinker, great food. It's a tapas bar, so lots of great small plates. And it's kind of cool. They've got it split up. You can do like an Asian themed, you can do Hispanic, you can do like Italian. You can mix it all together, which is what we did. I went with a group of folks, and we all got about 6 or 7 plates and sat at a table and had cocktails. But it is one of the most beautiful restaurants that we have in Myrtle Beach, without a doubt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For me, James, I would say Hippie Hen House is in Myrtle's Inlet. It's like this old Applebee's converted into this Maryland crab cake specialty.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
The best crab cakes I've ever had down here.
Really?
That's going to probably cause some controversy.
Yeah, it is.
But not enough, not like too much breading.
Yep,
it's all crab.
All crab, yeah.
Which is what you want. That, and then also I went to the new Whiskey Roots place to see. Roots. It's down there near like past Family Kingdom as you're going toward Market Common. Yeah. It's somewhere there on Kings Highway. It's got a new whiskey bar, and they got, it's good. Why do you say it like that? Oh, God.
It's fine.
I wish they had more premium bourbons.
Yeah. I feel like it's almost there.
Yes.
As far as a cool place, but there's I don't want to take anybody off.
No, you're good. The bar area is beautiful.
Yeah.
It needs a little bit more work around.
It's just it's
is
almost
that where you're going?
Yeah, it's almost there.
I agree.
It's close. It's really close.
You get the vibe they're going for.
Yeah.
And I still think they need a couple of tweaks.
Yeah.
We said at the bar.
Yeah.
Because once I saw the round, I was like, we're going to the bar.
Yeah.
But I would at least recommend going in there. The cocktail was great.
Yeah.
It was a little pricey, but it was great. So yeah, that's what I've done recently. Twister, should we bring up Glen Powell?
Again? No, I think we've done Glen.
It was funny though because I had so many people comment on that. I did want to pull one up, not to date you because this comment might date you, Jamie.
That's fine. I'm old. It's fine. I know my date.
Let's see. This one was from, as I'm literally pulling up the live. This was from Ashley Hall. She said, Andrew, you cracked me up, obviously talking about Glen Powell, but I grew up here in Myrtle Beach all my life. I live in Garden City right behind the good old Krispy Kreme. I remember back in the day when I was in 8th grade at St. James Middle School where Mr. Jamie Arnold came in and gave a speech to about weather. It was in the big gym, and he's still handsome now as he was back then.
No.
Look at Ashley. Ashley's now 39 years old. So it was years ago, but I still remember him crying, laughing face. I'm a big fan of you all and listen to the podcast regularly. Hopefully Twisters was a success. Can't wait to be out there live one night with you all.
Oh, Ashley.
So, Ashley,
look
at you.
I mean, I'm no Glen Powell. Far from it.
Twisters was fun to everyone that came out there.
Fun. I'm ready. I want to go back. I want to see it again.
So Jenna did.
Yeah.
And she said that she actually flipped from the old to now the new.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, and I've had a lot of hate about that. I did have a couple of people like, really? You like the old one better after they went and saw it? And I think we said this briefly in the podcast. It's hard to compare a movie that came out in 1996 and one that came in 2024.
Yeah.
Obviously, the 2024 one looks good.
Yeah.
But like growing up, the nostalgia of Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton also, we're sorry, Helen, if you're listening. But the nostalgia of that movie, I think, is still going to resonate with us.
Yeah.
But the new one is better.
The thing I loved about it is it was just a good old-fashioned feel-good movie. And I posted this on Facebook too, and this will probably
No, I like it. I'm glad you're going here.
This will probably stir the pot, but it was so nice to go to a movie. I was almost expecting to be beaten over the head with climate change.
Yeah.
I really was.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to go to a movie now without some sort of hidden or even not hidden, overt, over your head, issue.
It's also nice, and this is not to like start a whole nother segue. It's also nice to watch something and see more unity and not like be offended.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned that during the podcast too. Like the whole movie, it just felt good. Everybody ended up
laughing.
Yeah, everybody ended up as the good guy.
Yeah.
All the characters were the good guys at the end, and they all got together.
Which is hopefully where...
Which was just nice. It was just nice. A nice break from the crap going on in the world these days.
I love it.
Which leads me...
Lord.
Which leads me to this.
Oh, Lord. All right. We got...
Have you seen this book? Do you know this book?
I do know this book. I have a kid now, 2 years old almost, which is crazy.
Grumpy Monkey's Little Book of Grumpiness.
I don't know if I've had the little book, but I've done the ones on the back here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, are you going to read this to us?
Nope. You know who gave this to me?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Our boss. Matt Stanley. Matt Stanley, our boss, gave me a book. Gave this to me. Grumpy Monkeys.
I just want to read the first page.
Read the first page.
Let's see. Grumpy. How about a banana?
Nope. Not only did he give me the book.
Still grumpy?
Yep.
How about a banana and a ball?
Nope.
It's Jamie.
That's me.
Still grumpy?
Yep.
How about a banana, a ball, some crayons, a present, a rainbow?
Not only did he give me the book, he did what you just did. He read the book to me.
Oh, the whole thing?
Until I said, if you read one more page, I am taking the next 3 weeks off. So look, here's the deal.
How does it end? Not bad. Peace and quiet and a friend. Not bad.
Not even the friend. Just give me the peace and quiet. Just give me the peace and quiet.
So you
no
can
friend.
sort of relate here.
Just
okay.
Yes.
So why did Matt give you this book?
Sometimes, look, I love my job. I love my career. I am truly blessed, absolutely blessed to do what I love every single day. But at the end of the day, it's a workplace.
Yeah.
And sometimes crap just happens and it gets on your nerves and you get really grumpy.
Oh, man.
I've been in a little bit of a grumpy mood for the past week. Mm-hmm. And it's not
as you have been.
Not throwing people under the bus. It's not crazy drama. It just is what it is. Yeah. It is what it is. Sometimes it's, you know what? They call it work for a reason, and work sometimes makes you grumpy. Then my air conditioning broke. I don't deal with heat.
And you've said that before on the podcast.
I don't do heat, especially in my house. A couple $1,000 to get it fixed. This morning on my way here, putzing around the house, boop, water drips on my head. I look up. The volume of water dripping out of my ceiling in my living room.
Is it still dripping right now?
Yeah.
We'll make this a short
to the point
podcast.
that I may go home and the ceiling potentially has collapsed into my living room. Grumpy monkey. Happy podcast.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Well, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah. In my house.
In your house.
Literally in my living room.
There was a 20% chance of rain today.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Man, that stinks.
So, yeah.
I'm glad you brought the content to the podcast, though.
Yep. Grumpy monkeys.
Look at you with the preparation.
Right.
I do think, too, and this kind of will segue into the hurricane season, you say there's like a time right now to where it's like you're just grumpy, you're just agitated with work. I think that's where I'm at, not like, oh my God, I hate my job.
Right.
But think about it. Like, we've been communicating with you all on the podcast, or we've been talking on social media about what for the past 3 months?
Yeah, hurricane season.
Hurricane season and the heat and humidity.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I know, like, you won't tune in for your forecast, and that's what we're here for, which we love. But I can only first alert to 105 to 110 degree heat index so often before I'm like, I just feel like I'm just on a cycle. On a cycle.
Yeah.
And then we get a chance of development. Not that I'm hoping for, anything, but it's like, once again, it's still the tropics.
Right.
I just feel like we're in that until we get something big or we get multiple waves or immediate threat.
Yeah.
It's just
it's the summer doldrums. We're just marching through.
It was so bad that we were wishing for rain with the drought.
Yeah,
It wouldn't stop.
There is nothing worse than covering a freaking drought. Oh my God! Oh, that's exciting. Oh, look, it's not raining again. Oh, it's not going to rain today either.
If you see us doing that, you know we're struggling.
Still not raining.
Oh, Lordy. So let's talk about hurricane season.
Yeah.
Couple questions. I don't think I put this one in there. This one was from Paula. If it's in there, I'm sorry, Paula. Active hurricane season forecast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a misinterpretation in that, so I want to clarify this up, and I can send her the link to this. Active hurricane season forecasts, only 3 named storms.
Mm-hmm.
It's not uncommon.
No.
And like I told Paul, I was like, hey, we'll address this.
Yeah.
You have to remember, we're not even to the peak of hurricane season, people.
Yeah.
Like
from August 1st, I don't remember the specific percentage, but I think it's like 85% of storms.
I was going to say 85 or 87. It's something like that.
Yeah, about 85% of storms in any given hurricane season form after August 1st. So, yeah, we've literally just started hurricane season.
And maybe that's like, I sit there and I think maybe that's like it starts on the 1st. Mm-hmm. That maybe we kind of have like, kind of what we're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane, like, tiredness.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it now for 2 months.
Yeah.
And, it was busy there with Beryl for a time, and Chris was 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But now, like, when it's really getting going, like, this is the time that you need to be all hands on deck.
Yeah, it is. And this is very common. It's, once you get into August, things just naturally, even on a slow hurricane season, August is when things just naturally start to happen. And it still looks like all systems go. I still think we're going to flip the switch here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we'll get, obviously, the one that we've been tracking for this week, whatever that does, whether that's weak or strong, it'll detect the forecast track. But it looks like we'll have another signal, and I tweeted about this a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Next week, more than likely coming off the coast of Africa, and then maybe potentially another one a following week.
Yeah, so we're about to get in it.
And I think that's where you'll start to see trains of chances of development coming in. Dr. Phil, obviously, Klotzbach, will be releasing another update a little bit later this month.
Mm-hmm.
His tweets, I'm going ahead and tell you, I don't think the forecast is going to change from Dr. Phil.
No.
I think he's going to double down, triple down, quadruple down again.
Yeah, he's holding steady
on the same numbers.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow Dr. Phil, you just go back and look, Colorado State, Phil Klotzbach, you'll find that. So hurricane season still continues.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it might be busy for us. It only takes one. We've talked about that. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about for the tropics?
Not really. We'll get the, I think we're pretty well done with drought.
Yeah.
Speaking of drought.
Which technically, like, we would know the next update by the time this airs.
Yeah.
My guess is it will be alleviated for most.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it will be completely gone, but we will all see a downgrade to some extent.
Yeah, for sure. I had to go to Florence this week, and it was so nice to see everything green.
Yeah, my yard finally.
Green. The PD River was full and it was flowing.
Yeah.
It was moving. So things have really turned around.
Which is kind of crazy to think that it was so low in some of those spots.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it low before, but
yeah,
for sure. How much did you pick up at your house?
I ended up with 8 inches at my house.
Holy smoke.
Yeah. Over the course of basically a week.
We were about 7.
Yeah.
6.5, 7.
Which is impressive. And it may, as luck would have it, it may come to a point here in these next couple of weeks where we'd be wishing for drought. Hoping we were still under drought.
Yeah.
It's always nice to go into a really active hurricane season with really low river levels.
Yeah. Especially because you got to think, we've talked about this before. Yeah, even if a hurricane goes into the Gulf, we're still going to get tropical moisture a couple days later, more than likely. Yeah. As that curves back to our northwest.
Yeah.
So we do have some questions to answer.
Let's dive into the questions.
You want to do this, Grumpy Monkey?
Yep, Grumpy Monkey in charge of the questions.
At least your shirt doesn't give off Grumpy Monkey
This is
vibes. Looks very good.
Thank you. This is my I've given up on summer shirt. I don't care. I'm focusing on the inside. I'm not going back outside. This is kind of fun. What is your workload like during hurricane season? How does that change with storms hitting the Grand Strand or quiet weeks? Tina. I'm going to go to how does that change with storms hitting the Grand Strand? Because I think that's the really important part.
And let's do on that too. Tina, great question. Let's do like the whole week. Like, what does that look like for the week of a hurricane?
Once we're in the cone, that is kind of an all systems go.
Yeah.
That's when I think we stop losing sleep, especially if we're talking about a hurricane.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a little 40-mile-per-hour tropical storm, not so much. But once we get into the cone of a hurricane, that's when it's really go time.
Communication, first and foremost, even before then, but especially at the cone, ramps up tremendously.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a lot of people realize, like, we're communicating with you all, but we're, like, you're communicating with the entire newsroom in the afternoon.
Yep.
I'm communicating with them in the morning, whether that's what do we want our show to look like?
Yeah.
What does the tone need to be?
Yep.
Is everything matching what we're predicting?
Yeah.
Or what the forecast shows?
And that's when, usually once we get in the cone, that first day or two, we're pulling 12 or 18-hour days, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
at least
easy.
12.
Yeah.
At least
a
12.
12-hour day. And then as it gets closer, it's what to the wall. I almost said it. But, yeah.
It's those are the days, like, even, and I still struggle with this, and you're good about it. Rest when you can. Mm-hmm. Like, you know how I am. Even if the storm's hitting or making landfall tomorrow, I'm here way too late than what I should be. And then you come in and you're like, hey, go get sleep while you can. Go do it, which always helps. But I think it's almost like a last minute prep type feel.
Yeah.
But also the adrenaline, like, tomorrow's the day. You know, not saying that even if it's bad, even if it's just a tropical storm, I think it's still like that for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I don't want to say I get grumpy, but I get very methodical.
Yeah.
And I get really focused. Normal day, I'm going to joke around. I'm going to talk. I'm going to walk the newsroom. I'm going to hang out at people's desks and talk about what we're going to do over the weekend. And those couple days before a storm, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to my team. Anybody else? Like, that's not the day to pop in the office. Hey, Jamie, what's going on? No, we're not doing that today.
Yeah.
I'm very methodical, and my brain doesn't stop. I need to do this. I have a lot of lists going on the week leading up to a hurricane. Got to do this. Got to do this. Got to do this. Try to rest.
Yeah,
I do try to rest. I love for y'all to rest.
Yeah.
Because we do all need to go into it, and it's very hard a lot of times not to go into. So let's kind of fast forward to the day the storm hits. You're in the marathon that day, and it's really hard if you go into it already exhausted, which a lot of us do, unfortunately. That's just the nature of the beast. We're not excited that a storm's hitting, but our adrenaline is pumping. We're going into our Olympics.
Yeah.
This is what we do this for.
And you're really good too. I always say you need one storm under your belt to kind of get a grasp. I remember my first storm thinking, Jamie, I got this. I'm going to be up the entire day. We're going to make it. And, like, I don't know, after, 14, 16, 17, I don't know, of being up, it's like my first wall hit because I didn't prepare the days beforehand. So, like, when you say prepare the days, I now nap religiously.
Yeah.
For, like, if we know a hurricane's coming, I might be here for 14 hours, but I'll go home and nap for 4.
Yeah.
And then I'll try to sleep again that night. And just, well, I know that's not how sleep works, so don't come at us. But I do know, based off, and I'm sure you do for sure after all that you've been through, but you learn how your body reacts to this and what you can, because now I'm like, Jamie, I'm here until, I mean, even with winter storms, like, I'll be up all night. If you need to go rest on the couch, we got it. But
and I don't want to be anywhere else but here.
Correct. I'm the same way.
I hate to sit at home waiting to come to work the day of a tropical storm or hurricane.
Yeah.
Like I do my best to sit there
Which normally
and try to
before
rest.
the 5 o'clock update.
Yeah, I'm like, Jamie, this is, you just sit still, put your phone down for a minute, but you can't. And I am more comfortable here when there's a storm approaching than I am at home. I got everything I need. I got all my resources. We got the couch in the office if I need to kick back for a minute, and let's go.
Not to sound also, great question, first off. Not also to sound like poetic or like we're the MVPs.
Yeah.
But it's also, there's a moment too, at least for me, it's like, I know first off that week, and I always usually try to prep with Emily, like, hey.
Yep. Yeah.
Not going to see me much this week.
Yeah.
But then, like, when I leave the house, it's like, all right, by the time I come back, this thing's going to be long gone past us to the northeast.
Yep.
I'm loading up with all kinds of snacks and goodies.
Yep.
Sleeping bag, if I get a chance to sleep. A cot, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's all hands on deck.
Yeah. There's traditions now that I have with my friends that the day before, 2 or 3 people will usually come to the station with like bags of snacks. Yeah. Bags of snacks. Because I don't eat meals during hurricane coverage. Like the day of the storm, I don't eat a meal. It's protein bars, water, and I try to stay away from coffee. Yeah. Because it gets me too high. But water, I may cram in a slice of pizza really quick. Yeah. But yeah.
I've ate less during hurricanes than I did the first time.
Yeah. And then the day after, I just want to put everything I can in my mouth. I eat and eat and eat.
I also get to the point if I eat too much during a hurricane, I'm sleepy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't do that. That's why for me it's protein bars.
And instead of doing coffee, I now do energy drinks, which are just so much worse.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
But I do that toward the end. Yeah. So great question. Anything about the after? We've talked about this before. We call it our own little tropical depression.
The tropical depression after coverage, yeah.
Not that we're depressed, but like...
Yeah, it's like coming off a drug.
Yeah.
Like you've been for a week or 10 days. That's all you're focused
on one thing.
And then usually after a hurricane, the weather is very quiet, very nice. And it's just like...
We would love to be outside, but I'm in bed for 18 hours.
And then the thought of walking back in this building for a couple days is tough.
The hardest part, and you all weren't going to know what we're talking about when we talk about this, is... coming in, like say the hurricane was on Friday, even if we do maybe a little bit of storm damage on Saturday or whatever, which we've done that before and it's been a whole day, coming in the next day or next shift and realizing you didn't delete anything from the previous storm.
Yeah.
So your whole show is dedicated to... And then it's like, wait, how do I do weather again?
Right, yeah. What do I talk about? What are the temperatures tomorrow? What? Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's a little snippet inside the chaos.
Yeah. And the thing is, and we often kind of joke, if it's a category 1 or if it's category 4, it almost ends up being the same amount of work.
Yeah.
The intensity of the work may go up a little, but a storm's a storm. And
we still got to cover it.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
Duration might also be. George, I'm going to go ahead and you're not going to like my answer. And it's not because I'm ignoring you or we're not ignoring you. Is there any progress on the NWS class for storm spotting? There's not. But they do have a website with a link of their upcoming classes.
Yeah.
I think that could be something fun maybe we do in the spring.
I was going to say, I think we should maybe host something in the spring.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Maybe do a live podcast with whoever's here for it too.
Yeah, I like that.
So, but yeah, that would be a good time. We're just, like I said, we're just all in now at this point.
Yeah. And this is, we're also, speaking of her, this is that time.
I'm shocked we did Twisters, to be honest with you.
We don't really plan stuff.
No, we can't.
I don't, if it's more than a week out, I don't really commit to much of anything this time of year.
I always steer clear from September and October trips in general.
Yeah.
And then August, our rule of thumb is it has to be within the state or within driving distance.
Yeah, agreed.
You have to do it that way.
Oh, this is fun. Can you elaborate more on the National Hurricane Center and the products they use? Adam, that's really good and very timely.
It is very good.
Very timely. Let me tell you, the folks at the National Hurricane Center are the best of the best.
They are.
Just an absolutely insanely talented group of people and amazing forecasters.
So much so that if you see anyone posting something that doesn't line up with the forecast, ignore it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. There's so much stuff, even with this past chance of development, it's nowhere near where we're targeting.
Yeah.
And why are we sharing this?
Yeah.
It's just for clicks. So yes, continue.
I don't remember the exact stat or the percentage, but basically for the National Hurricane Center, if you take their forecast cone, and you compare that against the European model, the GFS model, any other model, that cone from the National Hurricane Center beats models 1,000 times over. The accuracy of that cone is amazing.
70% accurate within 5 days over the past 5 years.
That's incredible.
That is.
And
that's a 5 day average.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So even a storm that.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you even casually watch models, you know that. One time the storm's over here, and then it's over here, and then it's over here, and then it's over here, and it's going this way or it's going that way. The forecasters at the National Hurricane Center are looking, obviously, at all the models. They have some models that we're not privy to, more of an internal use. But there are humans that are making those cones. Mm-hmm. Human forecasters are making those forecast cones, and they are exceptionally brilliant. You're never going to see that cone do this back and forth. It's going to nudge. It's going to wobble a little bit as the storm moves along. But I tell you what, they are an amazing group of forecasters.
My favorite thing to do is to use the cone from the initial cone all the way to the end to show the consistency, because they're fantastic at what they do. They're so good at what they do when they present to us and others in weather conferences. They say, listen, we know what models you use. Here they are. Here's their percentage. And here's ours.
Here's us.
Which, in a way, you almost have to do that now because of the age of social media. But their cone comes out. A little new update, too, this year. Traditionally, the cone would come out with 5:11. 5 a.m., 11 a.m., 5 p.m., 11 p.m. New this year, which I love, and they still do the cone adjustment if they need to at 8. But now they can upgrade anything to a tropical storm or a hurricane at any point of their updates. So you might be saying, well, if those are the only updates, then the other updates are typically our chance of development updates.
Yeah, and intermediate advisory. So
correct.
He was asking about the products. So basically the National Hurricane Center issues the tropical weather outlooks. So the ones where 60% chance of development or whatever, they issue that. They issue advisories once a storm is named. And as you said, the sort of main advisories are 5 a.m., 11 a.m., 5 p.m., 11 p.m. That's when you're going to get all the new data sort of into that forecast track. Then they issue intermediate advisories at 8 a.m., 2 p.m., 8 p.m., 2 a.m. So you're more or less getting an advisory from the Hurricane Center every 3 hours. Yeah. They also, and those advisories are where the storm is, wind speed, whatever. They also issue one of my favorites, their discussions. If you're a blooming weather geek, go to the National Hurricane Center anytime there's a storm that is forming or formed, and read those discussions. They're brilliant.
And even look at the maps they put out.
Yeah, look at their maps.
Oh, yeah. Tropical waves. There's stuff that they won't even, they highlight that you won't even see on our graphics because there's no chance of development yet.
Yeah.
But they're already highlighting this wave coming across this part of the. They're so good at what they do.
And then one of their other primary duties is issuing the watches and warnings.
Yeah.
So tropical storm watch, hurricane watch, warnings, storm surge watch, warnings all come from the National Hurricane Center.
Yeah, and they're great typically about putting those in the main advisories, but obviously we'll put them in intermediate if they need to. Then they work with the hurricane hunters.
Yeah.
During an actual ongoing thing, maybe for the United States, we'll get those updates from them every hour on the hour, which is fantastic. So, without them.
Yeah, the hurricane. Yeah, just man, what a group.
Last question here, which I love. We get enough questions now to where I try to pick questions that I know. I've kind of stockpiled them.
Oh.
So that's why if you're wondering, hey, how are these all about hurricanes?
Okay, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it all come together.
I like it.
I don't know about this one. Yes and no. Is there any correlation to the heat in regards to a hurricane? Being hot so early makes me nervous for a big hurricane later this year. Lived here my whole life. I think there's a misinterpretation that when we talk about warmth with a hurricane, people assume land. These things thrive all on water. Warm water.
Yeah.
And that's when we're talking about the ocean temperatures above or higher than normal, or the warmest they've ever been on record. We're not talking about us. We're talking about the Atlantic.
Way out there.
Want to make sure. But Brian, thank you for that question.
Yeah.
No direct correlation.
A hot summer doesn't necessarily mean a bad hurricane season.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to kind of draw that comparison.
Yeah.
For the reasons you mentioned. But yeah, there's certain weather patterns, I guess, and if you sort of look at a big scale, there are certain weather patterns where, if it's hot here, that general pattern may tend to favor hurricanes coming our way.
Correct.
But overall, there's no really strong correlation. Plus, as I always say, every summer is hot in South Carolina. Even the cool summers are hot here.
Yeah. They are.
There's no such thing as a cool summer in South Carolina.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I think that's going to be it. You have a leaking roof that you need to go.
I've got to fix a leaking roof, and this grumpy monkey's got a lot to do today.
I'm so glad you brought that. Well, I'm so glad he gave it to you. What great content we have.
Yeah, I think that's the name of this podcast.
What, Grumpy Monkey? I like it.
Yeah, actually, we can go with Grumpy Monkeys.
Yeah,
because you've been a little grumpy too.
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah,
I just think we're all there.
Yeah, it's just
not that we're bad people. It happens. I think you have to be transparent about it.
Yeah.
If I were to tell you that I wasn't, well,
then I'm lying to you.
Yeah, 100%. Also, just for fair warning, I want to put it out there. I don't know when we're going to be next.
We don't know.
I would love to say we're going to be back next week, and we may be.
We may be. Let's see how things go.
I think we just, at this point, typically we would have already wrapped up a season.
Yeah.
So in order to keep it going, I'm fine if season 3 keeps going. Just know that it may not be every week.
Yeah, now that we're getting into August and September, we're going to be missing some weeks.
We're going to be missing some weeks. And honestly,
so that we can rest.
And maybe that'll be fun to where we can talk about a previous storm.
Yeah.
That'll open up something to where at least we can talk maybe more tropics.
Yeah, dive into the nitty-gritty. Until then, that gives you plenty of time to keep sending in those questions.
Especially hurricane stuff, yes. Hurricane stuff for sure.
Yeah.
That does it. Next week is 55.
Or whenever.
Yeah. Look, already.
Yeah, we'll be back at 55 at some point.
We'll be back at 55 at some point. Yeah. So go see Twisters. Stay updated with us. Download that app.
Like, rate, comment, subscribe, share.
Also, before we go,
buy me a cocktail.
Oh,
see this? What?
Come on, Grumpy Monkey. Glenn. Someone posted on TikTok while we were doing this podcast.
Oh,
Glenn Powell.
Wow.
So, yeah.
At first, I thought that said Glenn Powell is now following you.
No, I would have freaked out.
Me too. Same.
We had to name drop him a couple times. That does it for us. Y'all have a good one.